How was everyone's Mother's Day? Awesome. We had a great Mother's Day. Alicia was sharing with her. This is the one day of the year her husband cooks for. Right? Pretty exciting. Hey man, that's awesome. This is a little bit more brighter in here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We got a number of things to get into. I just want to remind you guys, 10 a.m. as opposed to the Role Play Academy, we're getting online with and doing a webinar with Terry, and pertaining to that game that we were talking about that he introduced to us a few weeks ago. Yes, you guys remember?
Yes.
Remember, right? So the gift card game, be able to order gift cards. He's actually done a couple tweaks to it, and he'll go over that. Tweaks like you won't owe him anything, right? Which is a good tweak, okay? However, so he's basically structuring the game where you're ordering gift cards, and based upon your marketing efforts, the next batch is either going to be on him or on you, essentially. So it's a great way to let's have some fun with getting referrals and setting appointments, right? So one of the things that I want to get started with this morning is obviously I have this book here. If you do not have this book, buy it, physically buy it at Amazon. Right, it's like $12 or something like that. Online. I've probably ordered a bunch of them and given a bunch of them away. Okay, so champions are obsessed with productivity and results. This is number 103. Champions are obsessed with productivity and results. Average performers think of work in terms of time invested on the job. World-class performers think of work in terms of overall productivity, output, and results. Middle-class performers are far more concerned with what's for lunch than with the productivity of the business day. Their bodies are at work, but their minds are elsewhere. Professional performers tend to work in jobs and businesses they love. As a result, thoughts of how to be more successful and productive rarely leave their mind. The great ones have to force themselves into non-work activities just to give their mind a chance to rest and recover. Is it any wonder why the world class controls over 90% of the wealth in America? The only people pros are competing against are other pros, about 5% of the workforce. The amateurs are no match for pros. How could they be? How can a person who is half engaged honestly expect to go head to head with the great ones? They can't, and they don't, which is why middle class performers will always live middle class existences. Don't misunderstand. They have the intelligence, talent, and ability to go pro, but they usually lack the will. Meanwhile, the great ones are the most sought after group of business leaders in the world. They are welcome in any organization during good times and bad. The world class has an open ticket anywhere they want to go because they are obsessed with increasing productivity and achieving results, right? So one of the things we have a saying about our results are not always fair. What is it? Often harsh, but not always fair. Right? Right? Often harsh, not always fair. Okay? So he goes on to say basically the action step for today. Rate your professional productivity on a scale of 1 to 7, 7 being the highest. If you score less than 6, make a list of the 3 things you could do to increase your overall productivity. After you make your list, go to your boss, which means you're the boss, and ask for additional suggestions. This one exercise may double or even triple your productivity and results, okay? Jack Welch, Chairman and CEO, General Electric, he goes on to say, a quote in this book here, we know where most of the creativity, the innovation, the stuff that drives productivity lies, in the minds of those closest to the work. It's been there in front of our noses all along while we've been running around chasing robots and reading books on how to become Japanese, or at least manage like them. All right, so a couple different things. You have your what's your accountability sheets pre-filled for the week already. Who has them on them? Just pull them out. Accountability sheets. Oh, that's not the interest credit method. So a few weeks ago, we should have stapled accountability sheets, 4 of them. with tracking?
Okay, falling off.
Alright? So the activity, your activity is going to equal certain results. What type of result do you expect to have by tracking your activity week to week? If you're really truly tracking it every single week, what kind of results would you see different, or have you experienced that you see different when you're tracking your activity?
More activity, yeah, increased activity.
Increased activity, right? And so what you focus on expands, yes? Right? So if I focus on am I making the amount of calls that I said I'm going to make? Am I focused on the amount of doors that I said I'm going to knock, right? So we want to make sure that there's a certain activity level that it has yielded your results currently. Your check last week on Friday was a result of certain activity or lack thereof, either one, right? Okay, so I want to get this very clear. There's no chosen one in this business. There's no special person somehow, some way that everybody just likes and does business with because of them. They just walk into a school and everybody goes and tackles them. This is here. They shove their applications in their pockets and none of that stuff. That doesn't happen, right? What happens is someone says, hey, I'm getting clear on my activity and it's going to yield me certain results, right? So let's talk about that for a second, okay? What your activity level could and should ideally look like, right? On a daily basis. So if I'm breaking down my schedule in 2-hour time slots, right? 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's a lot. It's more than 2 hours. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay. Some of us are wanting to choose to work and pop by. Okay, during this time period. Anybody go do some activities in the morning in the schools? Right. Okay. Some of us do. Right. So, you're like me. You got a bunch of kids, and they're mostly 1 or 2 or 3 are coming in saying that they don't feel good, don't want to go to school, and all these different things. Right. So go get through that. All right. So morning pop by. So what could I be doing in the morning between the hours of 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. activity wise? So the activity, if I look at it like this. Activity and results. Right? Here's going to be the activity during this time period, and here's going to be the results. Right? So what could I be doing during this 2-hour period?
Door knocking, pop by.
Door knocking, pop by. So whatever you want to call it, pop-ins, pop-by, walk halls, deliver coffee. I mean, it could be a bunch of different things, right? We've got people that have stopped by these different campuses and bring donuts, right? You've done that before, Brad?
Yeah.
What kind of results do you see from that morning prospecting activity? What kind of results are you seeing?
A lot of times even better than afternoons.
Better than afternoons,
We're kind
okay.
of split depending on some teachers are running to make school, some are running to get away from school, so all kind of depends.
Right. So then if you do this activity, what type of result do you expect?
Setting appointments.
Okay, so setting appointments. How many appointments do you expect to set?
2 to 3.
2 to 3, right?
On
And
campus
so
with, yeah.
2 to 3. I jot down 2 to 4, right? So I think we're right there. Okay?
Between 5 to 6 like solid conversations.
Right. So you have 5 to 6 solid conversations, be able to schedule 2 to 4 appointments. This is just that would be okay to expect that tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah.
And so the next time slot would be from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Alright? And what could we be doing during this time slot here? Activity wise, to growing our business. What could we be doing?
Appointments.
Emails, right? So and some of these emails, like, so what I put on here, maybe I'm following up on, pending sales, yes? Whether it's I'm calling a National Life Group, or I'm following up a New Business Concierge, I'm figuring out exactly what's going on with sales in my pipeline, right? I'm also should I be maybe preparing some pop-by kits? Because I'm going to be prospecting ideally in the afternoon, right? So maybe prepared for the day, prepared for the week. Yes? So I'm doing follow-up on sales, preparing pop-by kits, maybe follow up on potential recruits. Yes? There's some networking professionals, some industry professionals, some real estate, some mortgage professionals, some tax professionals that maybe have some availability during the day. Maybe there's some other people, some other business owners that I'm talking with, and maybe I need to be following up with them. So follow up with potential recruits. Right? What about could I maybe even do client like account reviews? Like file reviews, right? Or maybe even working on my CRM, yes? So if I went out and I'm prospecting on Monday, on Tuesday morning, could I maybe be inputting all the contact information, right, in the CRM during that 2-hour period, yes? Okay. So client file reviews, meaning that if I'm going through my CRM and I'm seeing, man, I wrote up Mary Smith 4 months ago on a $200 startup, but that's all I did for Mary Smith. Then what else? Let me run the scenario and see. Mary Smith, she rolled $7,000 with me too, right? She rolled $7,000. She's contributing $200 a month. Maybe why don't I compare and contrast shifting some or all of her contributions to an IUL? Or why don't I see what it would look like cost basis wise for having a term life insurance policy added to her strategy? Oh, by the way, she also listed her daughter as a beneficiary. Oh man, I'm looking at her daughter's date of birth. Her daughter is actually like 10 years old. One of the things we didn't go over or cover is a college savings strategy. That makes sense? So now I'm going through my CRM, I'm reviewing every single client file. This is what I should be doing during the mornings, okay? Some of us are having we got a 12 p.m. appointment and we don't start our day until 12 p.m. Right? So now what kind of results could I expect from this activity?
More business, more appointments that lead to more business close.
More appointments, right? And so more business close, because then I call, text, email, a couple different people, whatever. But let's just say this only yields me, whether it's on the recruiting side or 1 to 2 appointments, okay? So then my next 2-hour time slot, we've got 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. What could and should I be doing during this time period?
You could be doing lunch appointments for those that have said that they would like to meet during their lunch period.
Right. So I could actually do appointments, right? Like client appointments, right? I could be doing like networking lunch. I could go meet with a tax professional named Megan Savage. I want to recruit her, right? Make sense? Taking a lunch real quick. Well, it's not lunch. You have to do grandiose coffee. Man, we could go spend $15 at Starbucks and buy one of those little yellow pound cakes. We could split it, right? I get a bite, you get a bite. I get a bite, right? We're talking about building our business together, right?
Breaking bread.
Right? Breaking bread, right? Okay, so networking lunch, right? What about a team building lunch?
That's right.
Maybe there's someone on your team you're not as strong in relationship with, right? Hey, let's go to Starbucks real quick. Let's go over to Pete's Coffee. Let's go over, I don't know, wherever, and let's sit down. Let's take a look at your business, right? Because you as the leader, you understand, you're the leader of your team, your organization. So you need to be enrolling everybody, and they need to understand that you're the leader. Does that make sense? And there's leader of leaders. That's fine. I think everybody's pretty clear in Team Synergy that I'm the leader of Team Synergy. Make sense? Every single city we're going to, everybody's really clear on who the leader of Team Synergy is. Okay? So that makes sense. But then there's also Holly's done a phenomenal job. Chris has done a great job in regards to their teams know that they're the leader necessarily, right? And so when Brittany Golden, she goes and opens her own office, people know that are in her organization that she's the leader. That makes sense? So they establish that leadership role. But you can't get that leadership role unless you're actually getting in relationship with people. Make sense? Okay. Now, if you're just a team of one, hey, maybe you're having that team building luncheon by yourself. So you know we're not going to be this small anymore. This is the last time we're going to have this team building lunch by ourselves. Okay. You understand? You.
Sometimes we join other teams.
Right. So sometimes, what could it look like if you're reaching out or to other teams, to other people? Is there anybody in the production that you've seen the cash flow, the production for? Terry sent out an email showing everybody in the company who got a check over $5,000. There's multiple people on there for the week. We used to be, that was a cool number for the month, by the way. That used to be, okay? Now we just throw hundreds of thousands of dollars around like it's no big deal. Oh yeah, so and so made $200-300. That was $1,000. That was not. So and so got $20,000 check. Oh, look again. Ooh, somebody else got a $20,000 check this week. Big deal. On to the next one, right? That's how we throw money around in this business, which is crazy. So, not saying that we don't value it. It's just that the marginal utility of somebody getting a $20,000 check is not like somebody broke the 4-minute mile, right? You know, for like they did the first time, right? So, I could be doing these things, but I could also be doing a luncheon at my school, yes? Alright? I could also be maybe even putting, flyers in a mailbox. I go to my favorite school and my gatekeeper's there, and I want to put some flyers in the mailbox there. Yes? All right. So, that's 11 to 1. Now, the next two-hour time slot, we got 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. All right, so 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. What could we be doing?
Door knocking, middle of the day.
Door knocking middle of the day, so I'm wrapping up my luncheons. I'm doing, so I got door knocking, I got pop-bys to do. Should I have this preset already?
Yes.
Right? I shouldn't show up on Monday morning or go into my week, say, let's see what happens. I'll figure it out. I should be pre-planned so much so that it's almost deja vu as I go through my day. Make sense? So, door knock, wall calls. Also, I should be on appointments, yes? Okay? So if I'm door knocking, Moira, how many appointments can I expect it's about 1 to 3 p.m. time slot?
If you're fitting in a minimum day in there, you could hit like 3 schools, so maybe like 10 appointments.
Well, this 2-hour time slot right here, 1 to 3. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There are some schools that are going to get out at 1-ish, right? So I could fit in a minute. So I could, let's say I got 2 to 4 at one school, and I got another 2 to 4 at another school, right? So that could yield me what, 4 to 8 appointments, yes? Right? So, hey, by the way, trainers, and I learned this trick. You guys see how I write in different colors. I learned this training technique from this guy, Blair Singer. Anybody heard of him? Blair Singer, he's actually a good partner of Robert Kiyosaki. Anybody heard of Robert Kiyosaki?
Yes.
Alright, so Blair Singer wrote this book called Sales Dogs. Went to a training with him, actually in person. He would write in a bunch of different colors. The mind sees in pictures, okay? And so you ever heard the saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words? Yes? The mind sees in pictures. And so it's very important to us as trainers that we're making sure that we try to cater to different learning styles. You guys see when I train, I ask a lot of questions. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? It's interactive. Okay? Because some people are visual learners and some people are audio learners, whatever, right? Okay? So, door knocking, walking halls, that's the result, okay? Now, between 3 and 5, am I done at 3? Not if I don't have a business built. Not if I don't make a 6-figure income without making a sale. I'm not done at 3. Make sense? Now, if I go close a $100,000 deal between 1 and 3, hey, maybe I do reward myself. Make sense? But if I did $100 startup, is that enough?
No.
That's $72 it's gonna pay me. Is that enough to strike out, struck it rich? No. So I gotta go earn the rewards. I gotta go earn the time off. It makes sense? So 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. They gonna still wrap it up. Door knocking, appointments. But here's the difference. Here's the difference, and there's no knock on this person I'm gonna bring up. But early on, when I was first starting to build my business, guys, I was getting creamed by Chris Antonopoulos, cash flow wise. But I believe it's right here that helped me pass him and lap him and triple lap him and quadruple, quintuple. If there's another number, I lapped him. There's no catching me. That makes sense? He was riding a bicycle. He had a swing. It was very fast. And I was walking, and all of a sudden, then I caught a locomotive. I caught the Amtrak and passed him. There's no catching me, cash flow wise. It makes sense? He was creaming me. I'm talking about like you understand. We had a quarterly meeting every single quarter, and it was like there was one deal, and we would just base everything on cash flow. And every single quarter, it would be like, okay, all right, Chris Antonopoulos, Brett Moore. Oh man, Brett Moore got beat again, right? And so what it did for me right here, this was the heart of it, because I started doing this on the door knocking appointments. After I was done with door knocking appointments for the day, I started doing this, prospecting calls. The who do you know? Hey, I just opened an office. I'm expanding my business. I don't know if you know, but I work with teachers and other school district staff. And I help them with their retirement accounts. I love an opportunity to show you what it is I'm doing. Maybe you can refer me to people down the line. If I have any rapport with that person at all whatsoever, what's the likelihood of them saying no? Did they say no to that? Did I ask them to buy something? No. I didn't ask them to let me sell them some. I didn't ask them to volunteer their time necessarily, right? There was no heavy lifting. None of that, right? It was, hey, I'm just expanding my business. Can I show you what it is I'm doing? I help teachers, for God's sake. Like, it's not, right? I'm not ripping people off. People are like, man, you know what? Actually, my friends think about their favorite teacher. They think about their kids' teachers. Man, those teachers do need help, right? This was the difference right here. This is, can you walk, meaning making sales, and chew gum by recruiting at the same time? See, I see a lot of producers that have a challenge with what they do is they'll go make 50, 60, 70, 80,000, 100,000, then they want to go try and recruit. I didn't do that. I was always producing through recruiting and training. Make sense? And when I got that new recruit, I fast-tracked them. I got them in the field within 72 hours. I got them on Voxer. I got them to read their agent manual. I sold them the dream on where we were going, by the way. Here's the goal. Here's what we want to go create. Here's why I'm working with you, Alicia. Here's what we're going to be able to do. We got this office going, and once we get an office up and running, here's the production that it can yield you. Let me show you this. This is what we're doing together in the classroom, though. And I'm making sure now, if I've got a recruit with me, do I tell this recruit just to show up here? During this time slot? No. When do I tell the recruit to show up to the office? In the morning. And at the end of the day, what I don't do is say, okay, great, I'll see you whenever. Right? No, I don't leave a new recruit without another time to get back together. Hey, meet me at the office tomorrow night. Right? Make sure you read your agent manual 3 times a week. Hey, make sure, hey, we had some success today. Make sure you send out a Voxer about that. Did you do the math on what that's going to yield you? We rolled that $7,000 with Mrs. Smith, and she's contributing $200 a month. Did you do the math on that? No, I didn't. Well, let's hop on your business tracker. Let's do the math on that. You need to know exactly how much money you have coming in. This is what we're doing between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. We're back at the office. See, a lot of us here, we're cutting it off. We're stopping right here. And this is going to kill you in the long run. Because you're only surviving on sales at this point. Right? Now, I'm not saying, I think that this is an opportunity for you to practice on your recruiting. Is everybody that I meet with gonna come on board? No. And that's okay. I have to practice at my recruiting. Because think about like all this was practice on sales, yes? It was all practice. The follow up, the putting the Popeye kits together, the going and seeing them, putting flyers in the mailbox. This is all practice on sales. So I've been practicing on sales 90% of my workday. But then I want my recruiting efforts to be 100% solid. I want to recruit 10 and all of a sudden 10 stick forever. Or I want to recruit 2 and 2 stick forever. It's not, guys, if you really, I'll show you guys the numbers. Guys, we recruited as a hierarchy like 800 people. We have about 200 or so, 220 that write business on a consistent basis, about 300 to 350 in a year. Now, should I get upset about those other 800? Or let's say that it's a total 800, but the 500 that aren't active, should I focus on those people? Or should I focus on I mean, now I don't focus on, because I said, man, I gave them a great opportunity. I can't do it for them. Now, I didn't personally recruit all 800 of those people, right? Some of those people were recruited by other people that recruited people they shouldn't be recruiting, right? There's somewhat of a barrier to entry in our business, okay? You gotta be coachable, accountable, hardworking, which is ideal, but I'm talking about you gotta have a car, okay? You gotta have a car in our business, okay? You gotta have a clean background, one, right? You gotta have, in order to have a license in the state, it's gotta be approved, right? So there's some of those 800 people were recruited out of the hiring app system, and then when they went to go apply for the license, the state wouldn't issue their license. So that knocks out some. So I don't focus on the ones that aren't showing up anymore. I focus on the ones that are. Make sense? I don't beat myself up over the ones that aren't on board anymore. Now, I may reach out to them. Shoot, you know what? Actually, one of them, his goal was to have the car that I have now. That was his dream car, right? It was my dream car. I said, man, when we were working together, oh, yeah, man, that Tesla, man, that thing is awesome, right? Well, who do you think I reached out to when I got my Tesla? Right? I'll follow up, say, hey, man, did you get yours yet? No, his opportunity that he left to doesn't yield him the opportunity, the result of getting the Tesla. That makes sense? Mine does. Okay? So, now, from these results. Now, if I'm prospecting calls, and I'm prospecting calls as well as client calls, okay? Because even if you're saying, hey, look, okay, I've got 5 potential clients that are potential recruits that I've emailed or whatever that I can reach out to this week, that's about it. That's all I can think of. But again, I can be now calling more clients, right? How many of us have had people quit that we were training, that sort of deal? Okay, and they have clients that they've written business with. Right, keep your hands up. You recruited or trained someone, and that person wrote some business. They're no longer on board. Okay, all right. So I know you 4 have a number of people that, and we pretty much brought up a scenario with DC. He had somebody that quit. Those clients roll up. He followed up. So you can be doing that in that time frame as well. This is CRM, orphan client. Now, if I'm a new recruit, and I know my trainer has these orphan clients, could I maybe ask my trainer to work these? Make sense? Is that opportunity? It's a no if I don't ask. Right. Or if I ask that they need help with any of their clients. Make sense? Okay? I could also be looking at my school list and say, hey, how many people are actually working this school? I've only done business with 2 or 3 per school. But there's 50 per school, let's say, right? On average, whatever. Okay, so this is a sweet spot. Is my point to you guys, okay? So this result could be another, when you have that personal, you did that personal phone zone, and it was in the afternoon, yes, DC?
Yes.
How many calls did you make, and how many appointments did he yield, maybe? Or contacts?
Probably between 40 and 50 phone calls or texts, and I got 8 to 10 appointments throughout the next month.
Right, so, and how long did it take? How long was your?
I was maybe an hour and a half.
Maybe an hour and a half, right? So let's say you were there from 4 to 5:30 in your office, calling, texting, emailing, whatever, and it yielded you about 8 to 12 appointments, right? Yeah. And some people are going to call you back. Maybe you didn't schedule right then in that hour and a half. Some people reached out to you in the next 48 hours, whatever, and got back to you and you scheduled them, right? So this could yield another 4 to 8 appointments, that effort there. What's the total from there? We got 4, 8, 9, 11. So we got a total potential from our result, from our actions, our activities, 11 to how many?
22.
You said 23?
22, yeah.
That's in a day. Was that for the week or was it for the day? That makes sense? This is not including para, right? This is for the day. Now I understand some of these, hey, I got appointments during this time, but I mean, guys, there's no reason why I should go into the week with 2 or 3 appointments set. That makes sense? Right? So I need to be exhausted. This is where I talk about, hey, there's enough resources. Are you being resourceful enough? Okay? There's more than enough opportunity. The question is, are we actually taking advantage of that opportunity? Okay? So certain actions are going to yield certain results. Right? Cool. Awesome. Did you guys get something out of that?
Yes.
It'll provide a little bit of clarity for you, ideally. Alright, so Moira's got a great recommendation for a client. She's going to go over. Reminder, we have our Saturday barbecue at my house, right? 1 to 5. So please come out. You guys should have received the calendar invite. If you haven't received it, see me after. Make sure you're on there. It's 1 to 5 at my house in Benita. All right. So please give Moira a hand. What about this wonderful client you're about to close?
So, I just kind of wanted to go over like other calculations I did for him. So I put some of them right here. Basically, this guy, he's the husband of one of my clients, and I've talked to him several times. Like I popped by, I've had like pleasant conversations with him. He's a nice guy. Finally agreed to meet with me and go over what's going on with his account because he's in a fixed account. So he has $140,000 and he's only getting 2% on that money. So I said, you know, like Albert says, like, well, I think it makes sense to me if you don't even know what a fixed index annuity is because it can yield you a lot more interest. So finally he's like, okay, let's go over that. So in LeGlear, I just put what he's already putting into his 403B. He's doing $1,200 a month into the 403B that he currently has in a fixed account. And I put it for 14 years. He's currently 51, so when he's 65, that will be 14 years. So doing that for $1,200 a month for the next 14 years until he turns 65 when he's ready to retire. So if he moves this money over, not only I have it going into a Paramount 5, so he'll immediately get credited $7,000 just for moving it. Not to mention like that he's going to get a higher cap. He's not going to be locked in at 2% and not make any money off of his money. So that's kind of what I'm going to go over with him. And the GLEAR basically obviously just shows what he'd be able to take out a month if we rolled over that $140,000 in a single sum and then kept on doing the $1,200 that he's already doing on top of that a month, which would he'd be able to, but when he's ready to retire, he'd be able to collect $2,300 a month, which I think is pretty good on top of his CalSTRS. That's kind of where I'm gonna go with him and say this doesn't make sense.
Doesn't it make sense?
You did a call already?
What?
You did the call already?
No, I've just talked to him. It's like I've had, he's like a guy I've been following up with him. He's like got the fear of change thing, and then like I did business with his wife, and then he's like, okay, let's meet. So like I think he's just scared that he thinks like a fixed index annuity isn't really what it is. So that's what we're gonna go over, and we're gonna see. I'm gonna show him the benefit of moving it and what we can do for that.
What company is it currently with?
What?
What company is it currently with?
Fidelity.
Fidelity?
Yeah.
So maybe possibly prior to you showing this GLEAR, it'd probably be beneficial for you to do the fact finder call, because right now if you show him these numbers without gathering the information on the account that he has, it's kind of putting the cart before the horse, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So if you call the company and let him here's company say what's going on with this account, then you present something, it's almost like you are the doctor giving him a diagnosis because of this is what he has. Does that make sense?
Totally. Thank you. I'll make sure that I do that.
Cause you also wanna actually ask him about the distribution options when you do the fact finding call, right? Because if you're gonna show him the clear, which is really
Right.
what's the best part about it, right? No, no, you got it. But asking him, making sure you say, hey, what are the distribution options for that type of account? It is fixed, but what serves them best with National Life Group is the clear, not just the bonus. And the fact that they can have access to that money
Right.
at any given time, that's gonna pay them a lifetime income. That's what's gonna really sell it.
Right, and so by doing the fact finder call, when you're on there with them, you can say, does this account have a lifetime income? And when they say no, then that builds value in what you're presenting.
Perfect, thank you. You got it.
He's got that so there.
Alright, awesome, great job, Moira. We get it closed. Okay, so we've got interest crediting methods, okay? So interest crediting, I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna attempt to make some sense of it, especially because we're talking about two different chassis or vehicles, if you will, right? We're talking about one being annuities, the second one being life insurance, okay? So we've got everybody should have three different handouts. There may be, I think of the Elite 5, there's more interest history. So does everybody, so when we log into National Life Group, log into National Life Group, I don't wanna log in here. So on this side here,
It's not enough sheets, I guess, cause I just have the one, this.
or look on with the buddy should have, I know with the thicker one, there's less printouts. The Elite 5 has 10 printouts, so we add the buddy up. The yellow sheets are, there should be enough of those, okay?
You got that one already, right?
The yellow sheets, so there's three different products essentially is my point. There's a Flex, Life, and Flex 2.
Here, but you two share and. Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody good? So what we're gonna start, let's start on the white page one, the Elite 5. We're gonna start with this product here, okay? I'm still gonna kinda explain a little bit how the interest crediting method works. So when I purchase a mutual fund is not an interest crediting method necessarily, right? I'm purchasing shares of companies. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like little pieces of real estate, right? Okay, so it's little pieces of ownership in companies, right? So if those little pieces, let's say they're 10 cents a share, go up to 20 cents a share, and I own 100 of them, whatever, I double my money, okay? The way that interest crediting methods work in fixed index annuities, what it works like, in index, anytime you hear index, it's based upon a certain what? Indice, right? S&P 500 is an indice, yes?
Yes.
It's the top 500, it's the weighted stock average of the top 500 companies in the nation's economy, yes? Right? What are some other indices that there are out there?
So 2000?
So Russell 2000. What else?
We have the, Dow Jones.
Dow 30. What do these numbers pertain to?
Company number.
Number of companies in this, right? It's like saying, hey, what are the test scores of the students in Chula Vista Elementary School District? What are the test scores of all the San Diego County schools? Right? The average. It's a weighted average. That makes sense? Okay? Dow 30, 2000, S&P 500. Okay? Now, if it's a weighted average, which one do you hear more about on the news?
S&P 500.
Dow Jones.
The Dow. The Dow did this. The Dow did that. The Dow did. It jumps all around. You know why? Because there's less numbers to average. It's exciting on the news. It did this today. It did that today. Where if you check the S&P 500, it's a slower moving indice because there's more numbers to average. That makes sense? Okay. So these fixed index annuities act like a so it acts like a mirror, okay? So a fixed index annuity acts like a mirror. It mirrors whatever the let's just talk about the S&P 500. It's going to mirror what the S&P 500 does, okay? Within whatever parameters. Like the parameter is what? A floor, right? 0% floor, and let's say it's got a cap. So, down to the floor, up to the cap. This is going to mirror what the S&P 500 does. S&P 500 goes up 10%. My cap is 5. What do I gain? 5. S&P 500 goes down 10%. What do I receive? 0. But what if I gained the previous year? Stays, locks in all my gains. My account goes from $10,000 to $11,000. I can never go below 11,000, correct? All right. Now, this is not ownership. I'm not owning mutual funds here. Does that make sense, guys? So the value of the mutual fund, the value of that stock doesn't going down, it doesn't necessarily affect my account. That's how, now when I'm purchasing a mutual fund, there's a cost to purchasing a mutual fund. This is where we get away from having to charge fees for our accounts. Make sense? Your client saying, well, that's too good to be true. How do you not charge fees? Well, it's a different strategy. It's a different method. It's not the national language to say, hey, let's just give away stuff for free. No, it's a different method. Okay? So the way the interest is credited. So this is a cap scenario. That's one way of interest crediting methods. There's another way of interest crediting methods. Now this cap, let's see, let's just stay on the cap scenarios, right? Let me look over your shoulder on this. Let me 5. Okay. So declared. So it's declared. What is the declared interest rate?
For what year?
What does that mean? So declared interest rate.
That's a fixed.
Fixed. It's declared, right? It's already been declared. Because if I have what's called a point to point scenario, it means January of 18 to January of what? 19. These are the only 2 points that matter. Doesn't matter what it does in March or February or April or May or anything like that. It doesn't matter in this scenario. This is a point-to-point scenario. I put in $200 in January 2018, and then I want to see what the value of the market is, the value of the S&P 500 by January of 2019. Make sense? Okay? Yes.
So on the point to point, they're looking at the change or the difference in
The
the
market
points,
value.
the 2 points.
The value of the S&P 500, right?
So for an example, if it was 5, it was up 5 points. And then on January 2018, and then on January 2019, it was at 20 points. So my credit would be the difference, is that
Right.
right, 15?
Yeah, Melinda, you might switch your seats with so
Yeah.
I just want to show you. I want to show you something that help you learn this, okay? Just pull up cnnmoney.com.
By the way, I don't know if you heard this morning about the tariff. Dow was down like 600 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the Dow's down 600 points, right? Because of the tariff change, right? So cnnmoney.com, you go to markets, and what you can do is you can pull up the last. So look at this change, okay? You can just see the change down. The Dow's down 2.5%. The S&P 500 is down 2.5%. Now the value of the Dow is 25,200, and it was up to 25,800 or so because it's down 650 points. Yes. See, that was
Since Friday.
What's that?
Since Friday.
Since Friday, right? That was this morning, market, right? So that's 600 points, okay? So the value of the S&P 500, it's down 72 points, okay? So it's not as big of a change, but it's still, the percentage is around the same, okay? Not as big as many points, but the percentage is around the same. So if from January 2018 to January 2019, let's just say, because this changes since this morning, but let's say this is over the period of a year, one calendar year. I put $200 in the account in January 2018. And then its value here went down 2.5%. So my account value would change by how much in a fixed index annuity scenario like this? Zero. Okay? 0. So what you can do here, click on, just click on the S&P, the red too. Yeah, click on that. Alright, so this graph here has helped me out tremendously. You see that drop down menu where it says 5 days there? Click on that and go to 1 year. Now, the 1 year change is 2.97. So that means for your clients in the month of, what month is May? The month of May of 2019, for their anybody enrolled some clients or helped some clients, or any had clients contribute anything in May of 2018, guess what? Their S&P 500 values are based upon a 2.97 change in the market. So if I had a 5% cap and the market went up by 2.97, I received what? 2.97 in the last year. So that means when I'm contributing January through December, I have this almost segmented interest crediting methods, right? It's segmented. So January of 2018 all the way through December of 2018, I've got what I call, how I explain to a client is I say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, this works like dresser drawers. So in January of 2018, you put in your $200, and you did the same thing. You put that in there, and you close that dresser drawer. You're not going to open it up for 1 full calendar year. When you open it up, whatever the percentage and change in the market is, that's going to be applied to your account in interest. Make sense?
For that month.
For that 1 month.
So it changes each month based on the premium you put in.
Not based on the premium. Right. So
Each month has its own interest credit.
Exactly. So what if I help that client in January of 18 and we transferred in $100,000 and still contributed, let's say the contribution started in February of $200. So their bigger dresser drawer is January it's always January, right? That's the biggest dresser drawer they have. That makes sense? So on that statement, they pull up their quarterly statements. So that first quarter statement, every single statement that they pull up, that probably is going to have more money value growth on that account statement. That make sense? Because 2% on $100,000 is going to be a lot more than 2% on $200. Make sense? So it's dresser drawers. I don't open up for 1 full calendar year. Anytime you hear the point-to-point method, this is only applicable in which method? Point to point. Point to point. That means these are only 2 points that matter. Okay? Point to point. So this is where it gets a little confusing when we're reviewing these quarterly statements. And this is why, guys, and people say, well, why wouldn't everybody do this strategy? Why has it only been around for a little bit of time? Do you understand what kind of supercomputer it takes to compute the value of the S&P 500 every single sweep date? It's really called a sweep date, okay? Your clients contribute on January 1. Money gets sent from their check to National Life Group. It sits there until, because they're not going to have all 30 sweep dates. They're not going to always have 30, you're not going to credit interest on days 1 through 31 of the month. They have what's called a sweep day, the 14th or the 21st of the month. Okay? Where they say, okay, it sits in an interim account, gains a little bit of interest, and then we put it into the interest crediting method. Okay, that's why you'll see in some of the strategies, I know it's a little heavier, this is more under the hood kind of stuff, but I want you to understand the inner workings of it, okay? So you can always go here, I've always got, yes sir?
Even more detailed, would it be whatever the declared rate is at that time for that account, or?
Correct.
So it automatically goes into the
Right.
fixed account?
Right.
While it's being held?
So there's a declared, this is one interest credit method, a declared. The other one is the point to point, as well as, what else could I have?
Average.
An average, right? An average. What's the average gonna look like?
The average
Follows
of all.
The average, the whole average. So that means that, because up here, those only 2 points that matter was January to January. Here, every single month mattered. Now, if the market was valued low and it went up the whole year, that's a pretty good average to have, right? So this is where, when I'm writing up these sales, guys, and I know a lot of us just kind of copy the method of our trainers or whatever, this is where I do, 10% here, 80% here, and another 10% here as far as the allocations, okay? So if you look at the historical performance, let's pull up the Elite 5 historical performance. We've got a declared interest account. So we've got 2.2, 1.75. You can see that 2017 the interest rates have just gone down 1% on the declared rate strategy. So what that means is if the market went down, the reason why I do this strategy, now that's not a competitive rate, is it? The fixed interest, the declared 1%. But what if the market went down? Then my client gets what? Zero. Well, I still want my client to gain something, right? Now this is in addition, this is why the Elite 5, this is in addition to what? These interest rates that we're looking at are in addition to their 5% bonus, okay? If the market goes down, these two strategies are gonna gain zero, right? Even if the average was negative, your client's not gonna lose any money. They're gonna get a 0% floor, okay? If the market went down from January to January, or as a downward swing or whatever, your client would get zero here, but at least 10% of their money would gain that declared interest right there. That makes sense? So, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, I'm sorry, you would have lost in your AXA, MetLife, First Investors, Oppenheimer, whatever account. You would have lost there. But guess what? You didn't. In fact, you gained here because we had 10% of your money getting 1%. Is that okay? Yeah, shoot, I didn't lose, right? Now, let's turn the page. Let's take a look at the other interest crediting methods. Let's take a look at the point-to-point. So, point-to-point, another word for it is ending index. The ending index. Because they're saying, okay, where was the end? What was the value of the index at the end, okay? Annual ratchet point-to-point. Has it there in the parentheses. You guys don't see that, yes?
Yes.
On the second page. So, if your account value, your bucket or dresser drawer was established in February or May of 2012, in 2013, you gained 3.75. You guys see that? Okay? And if that dresser drawer that you established in May of 2012, because every single May, you're opening that dresser drawer back up. Because after that gains that 3.75, you close that dresser drawer again. Right? And then, that's your $100,000 dresser drawer. You close it, you say, hey, gain 3.75. Okay, great. Go close that dresser drawer. Yes.
Now for that $100,000 premium for say January of 18, then you get that interest credited January of 19. And then January of 19, you have a new premium amount going in.
Correct. Right.
So,
Gets added to that dresser, just your January drawer.
But so does the January drawer change not to include the 100,000?
No, it still includes it. That's your January drawer, right?
Like you just keep compounding it up and just putting it in.
Right.
Oh,
Right. Okay. So if you saw pull up you guys have it. You're looking over Regina's shoulder on that one. Yes, ma'am.
But these are only for the elite and the paramount, but it doesn't apply on the rewards, right? Because it's different credit interest.
The rewards,
totally
these are in the rewards, you just have more options. There's 5 rather than 3.
The interest crediting methods, right?
We
Exactly.
were talking about threshold and all that with nine.
Right.
Yeah.
Cause that's a different.
Those are
Yes,
different. What would be best at that point?
Yeah, but you know, like, on the Elite 5, the 5% credit is until like starting in year 11.
Right.
For Paramount 5 as an example, starts right away. Does that affect the compounding part?
No, because actually what you'll see is in the later years the Elite 5 is actually starting to grow and gain interest. Yeah, the Elite 5 bonus portion is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But yeah, so they keep it separate on paper, but it's still growing. The same. Okay. So you can see if you look down the left column, every single date that you see here is a dresser drawer, depending on when the client started their account. May, this is when the product was established, by the way. Why did it start in May of 2012? That's when the product was established. So in my clients that I have before 2012, they don't have an Elite 5. That make sense? Okay, so we're using a different product, Platinum, and just like they're coming out with these newer products now, those products are gonna have different start dates, right? Okay, so every single one represents a dresser drawer. And you can see the actual performance of those dresser drawers. Okay? Just like you see the blanks there. Well, if I had a dresser drawer of November 2013, I'm not gonna have anything credited in 2013. Make sense? Okay, so that's why the blanks are there. Some people think, well, this is incomplete. No, there's nothing to be credited there, okay? So, this makes sense, guys? Now, let's go to the Indeed should have, or just, these are all the,
They're both ending.
Yeah.
One's for the Russell and one's for S&P.
Okay, one's for the Russells, one for the S&P. Oh, Russell 2000 is the first one, right? The R2K. That's not your favorite boy band. That's the Russell 2000. Okay, and the other one's S&P. Okay, so you guys can see now for your more analytical client. Is this beneficial for your analytical client?
Yeah.
You understand the majority of fixed index annuity companies, they're not declaring or actually publishing their actual historical performance. They don't do it, right? What they'll do is they'll tell your client, hey, we'll give you a 17% bonus. Your client says, oh man, that's great. And then they get like 0.5% rate of return after that on that one dresser drawer, right? The company's happy because they got their money. They got a lump sum of money. But the client's like, man, that 17% bonus, that was just a one time, and then the subsequent interest rates aren't that great. And this is where I've seen National Life Group be a little different, be a little even out. It has to come from somewhere. There's no company that's just giving people money, okay? With more so than the other company, okay? So with these fixed index annuities, what they have to do is they have to balance out a couple of different things. They balance out a bonus, the cap, as well as the declared interest rate, as well as the commissions that they're paying out for these sales, okay? Anybody notice that these newer products seem very, very beneficial to the client, right? Lots of bigger bonuses than Elite 5, right? Mm-hmm. Anybody notice that those products pay a little less commissions?
Yes.
Where do you think that bonus came from? Right? It makes sense? Or the caps are lower, right? So it's just important to run these. And so when you come across these account scenarios, guys, and when you call a sales desk, don't take the easy way out. When you're calling the sales desk, say, hey, what? I got this client. Here's a scenario. You tell me which product to put them in. What do you think National Life Group and any other carrier is telling the sales desk to recommend to the sales force? One's most beneficial to the company, right? Now, does that mean it's a hindrance or it's hurting your client at all?
No.
The greatest thing about these products, guys, these fixed index annuities, is bumper bowling, right? Anybody done bumper bowling? Right? You see anybody seen a kid freaking ball go like this down the whole thing, just ping ponging? That's bumper bowling, okay? You can't get a gutter ball when they raise those rails up. Make sense? The same thing with this product. Your client will never call you and say, I lost money. Okay? You get in the variable world, that's a really big deal. That's a stressful scenario. You can get sued over that. You cannot get sued here because you didn't make somebody enough money. Don't judge whatever say, well, you didn't lose. Well, yeah, I thought I was going to get, no, but you didn't lose. Make sense? Okay? So, it's bumper bowling. Now, oh, wow, great. Okay, so cool. We will have to get into the IUL stuff later on the interest crediting methods, guys. But if you could just take a glance at the sheet there, see those different, it has different interest crediting methods. It has a point-to-point cap focus, the point-to-point, the PRT, participation focus. There's a point-to-point no cap. These are interest crediting methods. Not that one is going to strike you rich, though. If you look at them, the historical performance, they're pretty much going to be around the same at different points depending upon what the market did. Okay, so again, it's bumper bowling. I don't want you guys to get too stressed out about it. Learn it, know it. This is more so under the hood stuff. People don't. I've never checked the fuel injection of the car. I never checked the carburetor of any car that I bought. Okay.
It might be dangerous.
Right? I didn't get under the hood of any cars that I buy. Okay. It's just I bought the car. The vehicle's gonna drive, get me from point A to point B. That's what your client's doing, but maybe, the mechanics of it, maybe this is something that I want you guys to know and just have the confidence of knowing. It make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
This is actually only on their cash money that they receive, right?
What, yes, that's another great point. Thank you, Mr. Richardson. This is only on their, we gotta pull up Slack and get on there. They've been texting me like crazy. This is only on their actual walk away money, by the way. What that means is what are the clients purchasing? They're purchasing it for income purposes, yes? All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
She does a good job, so she always. But she's only got an appointment, so she can't, you can't just show up. So whenever I set my appointment, I can't cancel it because she's booked. Yeah, she's like, but she's clean.
You tell her to go ahead and find my.
I just tell her to do whatever she wants. Just like you guys, just
Like highlighting.
Anybody needs, bathroom break or anything, go ahead, do it now.
Trying to put third right.
Oh, is it two? No, oh, no.
I nailed it.
Because you might have life insurance, you might have stigma behind it. Then all we went over the other day.
That's my nail lady.
All right.
What's that? Yeah, Starbucks thing.
Okay, hold on. And the volume on TV. Hold on 1 second. So. I swear I was hearing something or somebody. Supposed to get on at 15 minutes ago, so here's what I'll do. Everything on these webinars. Hey Terry, you there? Hello, hello?